Welcome to the ROI Blueprint Mexico edition, brought to you by Kodak Capital. In this series, we explore the boldest minds, most disruptive ideas, and innovative strategies shaping the future of business and lifestyle in Mexico. Omar, welcome to the ROI Blueprint podcast. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you for the invitation, Tamika. I'm so excited to be here to have these conversations with you and with your audience.
That's awesome. I'm excited to jump into this conversation with you today. And Omar, you spent over 14 years bringing real estate projects to life from across Mexico, from Mexico City to Tulum. And so, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's been a huge process. I started 40 years ago, as you mentioned. I had the luck or yeah, I call it like the right choice to start my career in Grupo Lara, which is a Spanish real estate developer. It's the best school for real estate development. It's not an actual school; it was a job. But I started there as in a 2 year process called a trainee program, where I would rotate through all areas in real estate development, financing, construction, permits, sales, and at the end of the 2 years, whoever or whichever were the best at it end up consolidating into project managers. And that for me was the best school that I could have for real estate development
Yeah,
14 years ago when that started.
that sounds amazing. Lots of education, lots of experience. So, tell us a little bit about your inspiration behind starting Mangrove.
That was very interesting. As so many things started during the pandemic period, I was managing a project back then in Monterrey. It's in the north of Mexico.
Yes.
And because of the whole pandemic issue, all projects, construction projects stopped. So I was laid off that project and I had tons of time to think about what I wanted to do. I've been having this idea of starting my own development company maybe 3 years before that, but we always have excuses like I don't have enough time, I don't know the right people, or we just made this stuff up in our minds not to do things. So that having a lot of time led to having these online conversations with really close people. With my best friend, he's in oil and gas. We were just talking on video calls as everyone was doing back in the day. And we ended up talking from 9 p.m. until 4 in the morning, talking about business, what his business is like and what my business is like. Then we got the idea of continuing these talks and inviting two more people into a business talks every Thursdays.
Yes.
We got to be, sorry, I'm just deviating everything. We got to be a really huge group of 40 different professionals of 20 different industries, and people started doing business there. So this is the right audience to talk about starting a real estate company. And yes, I pitched the idea. I got my partners from there, and then that's how the idea of Mangrove started at the day 4 or 5 years ago.
I think that's amazing. And I think timing is everything, right? It's about timing, being in the right place at the right time. And also, you mentioned just having that community of entrepreneurs or the community of like minded people meeting every Thursday. And I think also just having the right people in your circle adds to that as well as timing because timing is everything. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that.
It-
One of the other things, it seems like you've worked in so many different markets from Monterrey to Cancun to Tulum. And I believe each one of these markets, they're different, right? So what would you say makes each one of these markets unique?
Oh, so many different things to take into account. As a developer, my main goal is to give the financial or to achieve the financial goals that we want to achieve in the project. And through that, go through all the phases, like from land purchasing to sales, permits, the design, the construction, post sale. So before starting a project in a different location, we need to really analyze how every part of the project is done in that specific market, like cost wise, operation wise. I'll give a few examples.
Yes.
The most important one, or the one that struck me the most when I arrived in Rivera Maya before the project was sales wise here. How everything's done in sales is so much different to how it's done in Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk the numbers. I'm a big
Yeah,
number
we can
guy.
share a little bit more
Yeah,
about that.
I'm a big number guy. So talking about commissions, like for brokers,
Okay.
In Mexico City, you pay 3 to 5% commission. That's a really good commission for sales of products. Here in Rio Maya, there's a very strong broker community, and they're practically every 90 to 95% of the sales are done from brokers. And the commission here is from 6% minimum up to 10% is the thing I've seen. So that's a number that is to be taken in account when you're trying to study or make an analysis of doing a project elsewhere. That's just an example of sales. Like in construction wise, the foundation of a building can change a lot from going something in Mexico City, which is a seismic zone. And there's also like a big water underneath. So if you just leave 2 or 3 meters underneath the ground, you're gonna find water.
And this is in Mexico City.
That's in Mexico City. Here in Tulum or in the northern banks of Mexico in Monterrey, the ground is rocky. So it's really good. You don't need as much foundation, as much structural uh, base to do a building. So those kind of things change. Permits change also, like a big thing. Mexico City 10 years ago probably will take like 6 to 12 months to get a construction permit. Here in Rio Maya, it's a lot faster. It takes 2 months, 1 month to get it. Or obviously, if you do the right steps and have the right documents. So it can really vary a lot from one place to another. And that needs to be taken into consideration when studying where to develop.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And so, taking in all the information you just shared, how do you decide where to build next? Like, where does that decision come from? Or what are the things that help you to decide where do I build next?
Depends a lot on the business strategy that the company is having. I work for so many developers that some of them only do residential apartments or residential vertical buildings, and they only do it in big cities. The way that they see it is that let's play it as safe as possible. Housing, it's a basic need for people in big cities or in general in urban situations. If you consider housing in beach areas or touristic destinations, it's more like a luxury or a second housing rather than a first. So there are some developers that see that as a risky situation, but some others want to take the risk because more risk means more gains. So it's actually a mix of the strategy of the company and also the strategy of the partners, what they're able to do. There's also so many other analyses that we need to take into consideration. Like for Tulum, what we loved about Tulum was how much future it has. It's so young right now. And that's because it's such a young city. It's like so many up and downs, and the ups are really ups and the downs can be really downs. But eventually the whole market, it's in 5 years or 5 great years, it's only going to be a positive thing. So many infrastructure being done here, and there's so many things to grow here. That's what we're betting on.
So, Omar, with all of your experience in managing projects from land purchase to post sale, what would you say is the most underestimated part of real estate development in Mexico?
I would say it's the whole financial planning before starting a project. It's not as simple as what are my costs and what I pretend to be gaining as income for the sale of the project. It's more actually doing a cash flow analysis of how the whole project is going to go. Like from start to finish, having different scenarios. If I'm selling really good, this is what's going to happen. If I'm selling okay, this is what's going to happen. If I'm selling slower than I wanted, I have these other options. Like, am I going to build with my own capital, my own investments? Am I going to ask for a construction loan to finish the project and deliver it on time? There's so many scenarios that have to be analyzed before. And for that, we need to have the right assumptions, because we like sometimes we just do like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell like 30% more by 12 months and I'm going to do this or that. We need to be the most accurate possible with our assumptions. So that's reflecting the business plan, and we have different strategies to attack and to mitigate risk at Fanho.
Okay.
That's the most underestimated one, but the most important for me is and will always be sales. Like in many businesses, if you don't have sales, it's impossible to move forward. So that's what we really need to focus on, is 100% sales with the financial time.
So I hear a lot about different things that can come up with post sale. Is there anything you can share on the post sale portion of this that's very important or that's underestimated that you typically don't think about?
Yeah, I think that's also a big thing now that you mention it. Like so many people, I don't want to believe that you make the sale, you deliver the unit, and then that's it.
There's
Not
more.
really. There's more to
Yeah.
that. What's best for developers is to have that word of mouth or good reputation. So we're really taking account in Mangrove about really being there for our clients, helping them out as much as possible. If they have an issue with an installation or whatever, just be there and resolve the issue in time. Any type of help that they need, more in a destination like Tulum. Like if 95% of the people who buy here in Tulum don't live in Tulum, or more than that, I would say.
Yeah.
So they really need our help to manage or to help them with whatever questions they have after the sale. Our products are boutique products. We only have like 9 units in each product. So we like being really close to our clients. And I think that's a really big important part, to be close to your clients, to understand them, and so that they know that with any issue that can come up, they have someone there to support. And it's not like, oh, I sold you the property and thank you so much, and I'm going up the next door. So yeah, as a marketing strategy, having happy clients is always gonna pay.
I love that you said that you typically have like nine because you want to make sure that you have that relationship with their customer. I think that's very important. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we start building a relationship before the sale, during the sale, and after the sale. Like every one of my clients has my phone number directly. If they got any issues, we have our team resolving the issues, but if they need someone else to step in, I'm gonna be there because I want happy clients, and I think in any business that's how everyone should treat the clients. That their most special asset is having happy clients.
We want our clients to always be happy no matter what industry that we're in. Going from larger scale developments to starting your own boutique firm, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. What made motivated the shift? And what do you think boutique developers bring to the market as opposed to the larger firms?
So what motivated the move was actually started my own company, which was something I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
There's also an ego part, the other way around, that you have to fight against for doing smaller projects. Like I was used to doing some buildings were 32-story high, like 200 apartments in one same building. So that gives you more opportunity of ego, like saying, "Oh, I'm doing all this, I'm directing these kind of projects." But from that to starting your own company and doing smaller projects, you need to take that outside of your system. There's more hands-on from my side from what I did before. Before in huge projects, I got used to have a teams of 20, 30, 40 people helping me with the project. Now it's such a smaller team, and I get to be in every part of what's going on. I know exactly how to manage things and do things to print my values into, or the company values into our boutique projects. And what the difference between boutique projects and big projects can be, it really depends on what the clients look like. I'm not gonna say that one's better than the other one. The big projects gonna give you tons of amenities, which some people will appreciate that. Boutique projects will give you safety, exclusiveness, and also, if you want a core investment, you're not competing against $100 the same apartments who want to rent out their apartments. It's more less competition and more exclusivity and personalized treatment with finishes and more specific things that every client wants, because it's not such a big deal.
Let's talk a little bit about numbers, creativity, and what the future looks like. As someone who blends analytics with creativity, would you consider yourself who blends analytics with creativity? How do you balance hard data like ROI and market metrics with the more intuitive side of design and lifestyle?
That's the hard part.
Okay.
Intuitive, you sometimes you can't measure a lot of it, so it's hard to make a decision about it. It's just asking people like, what do you value most? Finishes, what do you value most in amenities, in locations? But a lot of it, if there's not proper analysis behind it, a lot of it's like, I think it's about this, or I've heard about this, so it's really hard to analyze. As the other counterpart, which is data, which is
Yes.
data doesn't lie.
Yes, data doesn't lie.
So yeah, it's hard. It's a hard balance. I always try to stay focused on numbers. Every project first, before doing anything, we need to do a market analysis. Like, what's the absorption of the market? what's selling the most, if it's studios, 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units, what size of the units are selling better, what prices, payment methods they're using, which one's better, which one's not, and mixing that into our financial planning also to see if it makes sense to what we're trying to do. After that, we have to come up with the concept or idea of the project we want to do, and that's when it becomes a little bit more intuitive of what finishes are going to be mostly accepted. I always say it's real estate development is like it's something between science and art.
Yeah.
The science part can be easier because you can study numbers, but the art part, it really depends on perception, and it also evolves during time.
And so, really taking all of that into consideration, I think also knowing what your clients value, because sometimes you think, right? You think that we're thinking intuitively and like, yeah, I'm going to do this or do that. But really, like, what is our client and what is your client value? And taking it back to the client as well.
Yeah, and understanding each market also, like I want to give you an example. Mexico City, we did once an analysis about amenities. I think it was 80% of people said that it was very important for them that the building has a pool. It was a big decision-making factor that the building has a pool. People who were actually living in the building, we asked them, do you use the pool? And only 10% said they used it regular basis.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's something I desire, but it's not something I'm going to use.
Yeah.
But it's an important part of the purchase process. Maybe I'm not going to use it for 2 months, but I want to have it there for whenever I do want to use it. Other example in Monterrey, which is in the northern part, they are a huge fan, a cultural fan of making barbecues. Like every Sunday, all families get together to make barbecues. So what they're looking most in their building is to have so many different common areas for making barbecues outside. So it's really understanding what each market values the most and being able to design that in the project.
You know what? It's interesting that you said something that you might want or desire, like a pool or certain different amenities, and then you don't use it as often. I know when I was looking for a place, I'm like, I have to have a pool because every day at the end of the day, I'm going to take a dip in the pool. And then, like where I live now, we have this fire pit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hang out at the fire pit. 6 months later, I have not hung out at the fire pit, and I've done my pool 3 times.
But the good part is you know that you can use it whenever you want.
Whenever I want.
And it's nice having it there and just
Yeah. And I can brag and say, I have a swimming pool.
exactly. So that's the kind of thing we need to analyze, like what's actually a decision-making thing, even though people don't use it, but if it's helping people make the decision towards the project, it's going to be this.
Let's look at the future. So, looking ahead, where do you see the greatest opportunities for innovation in Mexico's real estate sector, especially destinations like Tulum?
I think one of the important parts that can change is ownership innovation. I've been hearing so much lately about tokenized shares in properties. You can be owner instead of being owner of 100% owner of one property. You can be 1% owner of 100 properties, which makes more sense if it's a rental unit or investment unit,
Okay.
which we got a lot here in Tulum. It's gonna make the market even more accessible for people. So you don't need to spend 200, 300, $500, $1,000 on a property. You can spend from 5,000, 10,000 to buy a share of the property, and then there's some operation rules about when you can use the property and how the income of the property is divided. So that can change a lot.
Okay.
It's
So it's not like timeshare.
no, no, no. No, here you actually are the owner of the property.
Okay.
Timeshare, you're owner of the right to use a property, but not actually the legal owner of the property. The other part that I think, I, I love that. Sorry, guys. If we ever get to have like an AI, if there's someone really smart who knows how to handle AI, we can do this together.
Wow.
To do AI about design iterations for a project. Let's say we have a plot of land of 1,000 square meters. We have our construction restrictions which are given to us by the government by the use of land. Okay, what can we do here? And then if we could have an AI that gives us 100 iterations of different projects to give us the project with the most efficient cost, with the most efficient way to save energy, the one that's more valued by the market. Obviously, you need to give really good inputs and have really good market analysis first. But having a tool done by AI which can help us do this kind of analysis, would save us tons of time doing the analysis ourselves and would save us lots of errors and investments errors in back do's and redos of strategies. So if we ever get to that, that'll be awesome for every developer. I think everyone or every developer that could be listening to us
Yeah.
would really love this. So yeah.
I think that would be amazing. So, for new developers or those who are new to the industry, thinking about your 14 years of experience, what would you tell someone who's new
Mm.
to what you've already been doing for 14 years? Like, what is something that you would tell them?
But I guess it's something I would have done differently or told myself
Yeah.
to trust is to listen more to people with more experience, to build my own community of people like-minded. What we talked about having a community that thinks and wants to achieve
Yes.
greater goals as your own. Getting a mentor in real estate development, someone who's already achieved success, and really learning a lot from that person. It's gonna save lots of trouble. It's gonna save lots of time. I know we all think that we're the best and we can do everything on ourselves because we have the capacity or we're very smart. I don't doubt that we all have the capacity to do great things, but it's a lot easier and a lot healthier to get a mentor, someone who's already done it, and
Yes.
learn from
We need,
others' mistakes and trust that.
yes. I love that. So, the first thing was listening, right? The second one was building community and then having a mentor. So those are the three important things. And those, I think those are very, very important. So, well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your insight. Before you go, would you like to share with our audience on how they can contact you, your social media or your website?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me here first. And yes, thank you so much. My real estate company is called Mangrove. We got two boutique spots here. You can contact on Instagram at mangrove.mx.
Thanks for tuning in to the ROI Blueprint Mexico Edition by Kodak Capital. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and tell us who you want to hear from next. And follow us on Instagram at ROI Blueprint. More visionary voices from Mexico coming soon. See you there.